And hello everybody, I hope you all are having a great week, and I gotta say this video is probably going to be pretty short. There are no major topics to talk about. I'm pretty much caught up on all the pay-per-views and everything. I've already previewed Saturday night's main event, which is going to happen this Saturday. Hopefully that turns out to be a fun, retro, nostalgic show. If, at the very least, hopefully it's at least that. Although my hopes of a Kevin Owens title win have pretty much been dashed based on something that happened yesterday. I'll talk about that in a minute, but I have no major things to talk about, just two minor topics to really discuss in one video, so this one will probably be pretty short, at least by my standards. Hopefully I can get it in under 10 minutes, but with all that said, let's go ahead and get started. So, Saturday night's main event, I thought we were all set to go, card was set, and it's like, alright, we're gonna have this retro show, we're having Jesse Ventura there, they're using the old theme, and it's probably gonna be a fun, nice, nostalgic romp. To add to that, Triple H and Cody were featured in a video that dropped yesterday, where Triple H revealed something to Cody, something in a briefcase, and said that for one night only, you would get to have whatever this thing is, and whatever it is in the spirit of the retro celebration that this Saturday night's main event special is going to be. I think everybody and their grandmother automatically assumes it is the classic 80s, 90s style, Hulk Hogan, iconic, Winged Eagle Championship belt. Now, I hope that's the case, because the Winged Eagle belt is, for my money, one of the nicest championship belts of all time. It's that, I mean, I grew up in the era where in WWF we had the Winged Eagle belt, and WCW we had the big gold belt, and it's like, holy Moses, two nicest belts in wrestling history. How cool is that? And if you follow WWF in 91-92, Ric Flair was walking around with the big gold belts. He had both nice belts in one company. It was kind of cool, even though one of them was censored, but I also love how we all call that belt the Winged Eagle belt, as if all eagles don't have wings. like, I'm pretty sure most eagles have wings. By calling it Winged Eagle, you're kind of being redundant, but whatever. It's the Winged Eagle belt. It's a gorgeous belt. We all love it. So even if we're only going to have it for one night, if we're up to me, it would be permanent, because it's such a lovely belt. But to have it for one night on a show like Saturday night's main event doesn't necessarily make or break the show, but it does kind of feel like, oh, that's nice. And as I've said a million times before, it's nice. I like nice. And it is a very nice championship belt. Now, I do hope that it is, if they're going to do this, that it's an exact replica of the classic Winged Eagle belt. Do not do what you did with the big gold belt and plaster an ugly WWE logo right on the center of it. Just let us have the old belt for one night. It's just one night. Just let us have the old belt for one night. And I think I'll be happy. A lot of dorks will be happy. It'll be fun. It'll just be a good fun time. Now, the introduction of the Winged Eagle belt basically confirms for me that Kevin Owens is not winning the championship on Saturday night's main event, and Cody's going to walk away holding up the Winged Eagle title belt. I would be very surprised if Kevin Owens walked out as the champion, although I would be in favor of a title change. I think what I would do in this situation would probably be to end it on a DQ or some kind of schmoz, and then set up some kind of a hardcore match at the Royal Rumble or something. I don't know, like some kind of a rematch that would be no rules. That was the old way of doing things. Nowadays, it's like DQs and countouts are stupid, and we don't do those anymore. And it's one of the most. It's like the wrestling business has willingly surrendered like tools at its disposal to help extend stories. I don't understand it, but hey. AEW had a match that ended in not a count out, but in a disqualification last night. That made my jaw drop. I'm like, I didn't think disqualifications were legal anymore. I was like, whoa, I'm shocked. So there was that. But yeah, Saturday night's main event, Winged Eagle belt coming back. Should be a fun show. We'll see. Okay, and the other thing that I wanted to talk about is a storyline that's been going on WWE television, specifically SmackDown. It's another classic whodunit type of angle where somebody got assaulted backstage, in this case, Jade Cargill, one half of the Women's Tag Team Champions, and we're trying to find out who did it. Right now, it's Bianca Belair, her tag team partner, and Naomi, who are on the case, trying to go down a list of suspects of who could have possibly attacked Jade Cargill. I like that they're targeting all the women. It's like, yeah, could have just as easily been the Bloodline, quite honestly, if we're going to be. But men can't attack women, and that's too, that people get offended by that. But be damned whether it's a good storyline or not. But in any case, we have that going on, and it's, like I said, it's nothing cutting edge. We've seen that kind of story in pro wrestling before. We saw it in 2002, where Triple H attacked Shawn Michaels backstage, tried to make it look like he he didn't do it. Turns out he did, and it was painfully obvious to everybody watching the show. When I first started this channel, one of the storylines that was going on, if I've got my memory correct, I believe it was right around the time I started making videos, where Kane was trying to find out who attacked The Undertaker and left him in a vegetative state, and everybody and their grandmother was just like, Kane did it. Like, what are we doing? Why are we even doing this? It's like, Kane friggin' did it. And sure enough, Kane did it, and it was obvious to everyone. But if you're going to do a mystery angle like this, like, more often than not, it is a babyface turning heel. Unless it's some kind of a big surprise or a debut or a return or something like that. Like, it could be Charlotte Flair, who's rumored to be making her return at Saturday night's main event. It could be, like, a returning Becky Lynch, who's rumored to be a part of the first episode of Raw on Netflix. So both of them will probably be back soon. Again, completely possible, but for the purpose of this video, let's assume it's somebody on the active WWE roster that's been on TV from week to week and try to figure out who did it. So based on what I just said, where it's normally a babyface turning heel, because it's a good way to facilitate a heel turn to do something like that, it would probably have to be somebody on the babyface side of things on the women's roster on SmackDown. So that doesn't leave a whole lot of options. There's like Michin and Bayley and a few others, but no like not a whole lot of major names. Bayley's probably the biggest name, but, you know, when you go, and of course by saying what I've said, you've pretty much already eliminated most of the heel side of things, which would be Nia Jax and Chelsea Green and Tiffany Stratton and those girls. So it doesn't leave a whole lot of viable suspects that would kind of make sense when you're doing a story like this. So the most popular culprit among people that I've spoken to online seems to be Jade Cargill's tag team partner, Bianca Belair. And I'm not going to say it's not her because, you know, I could talk about wrestling and common sense and things like that, but we've seen it time and time again in various other companies, WWF, WCW, WWE, TNA, AEW. We've seen it time and time again where logic and what makes sense isn't always what happens. So I could sit here and say that Bianca being the culprit would make absolutely no sense. She could still very well be the one revealed to be it, because they'll do it. It'll be the most shocking. And we'll catch him off guard because it didn't make sense. Which seems to be like the mindset sometimes. But I'm going to sit here and say that Bianca Belair, if it is her, it would make absolutely no sense. And here's why. So she discovered that Jade Cargill, her partner, had been attacked while she was in the middle of a match during this United States title tournament that's going on, and she left the ring to go check on her partner. So for this to work, that would have to mean that she attacked Jade first, went out for a match, and then when it popped up on the screen, she ran to the back to keep up appearances and make it look like, oh, I have to go check on my partner. So for that to work, you have to assume that the United States Championship, this brand new title that they introduced, means absolutely nothing to Bianca, and she was willing to sacrifice it just to keep up appearances. In addition to surrendering the tag team titles and jeopardizing that because now her partner's hurt. And she could very well, you know, she had a chance at being a double champion, and she completely threw that out the window just to keep up appearances. And again, it's entirely possible. Wrestling does things that don't make any sense all the time, but it's kind of a hard pill to swallow. Even though I personally think the women's tag team titles and the women's United States titles are emblematic of the problem in pro wrestling, how there are too many championships and how being a champion, you know, in this day and age means almost nothing because there's too many belts floating around. It's a WWE problem, it's an AEW problem, it's a New Japan problem, it's an industry-wide problem. But, you know, so even though I think the titles are meaningless, like, if Bianca's the one that did it, then that would basically be a character on the show acknowledging that the titles are meaningless. And I don't think they're gonna go that route. I could be wrong, but I would be very surprised. So, with that said, who's my pick for who attacked Jade Cargill? I think it's Naomi, because she's closely attached to Bianca and Jade. They're kind of like, if there were ever introduced a women's trios championship, which God, please do not do that, those three would have gone for the belts, because they were like the biggest three-woman team in the company. So it would make sense to me that like if you're going to turn a face heel, that would be somebody close to Jade. Naomi would be the other candidate. Bianca, they've kind of already made her not make much sense, even though they're tag team partners, even though tag team splits, again, classic wrestling story. The Rockers is a prime example of that. They've already kind of presented Bianca in a way where if it's her, it wouldn't make much sense. And I I think Naomi would be the next best candidate as a selection. So I'm gonna guess that it's her that did it. They also did a segment on SmackDown, I think it was last week, where she ran down a list of suspects of who it could have been. And it's like, we're gonna find out who did this. We're gonna go through all of them, Bianca, you and me. We're gonna do it. And I'm like, she did it. Because it's, again, going back to the Triple H and the Kane thing, it's like, it's always the one who's like the most motivated to find out who did it. Look, who among you assholes actually did the thing that I did, or whatever. It's always the one who's pointing the finger that ultimately gets revealed as the one who did it. So, maybe she did it for The Rock or something. I don't know. But in any case, that's my guess. We'll see how the storyline plays out. I just wanted to get that up on YouTube. It's like, hey, if it is Naomi, I called it. So there we go. I could be completely wrong. It could be Bianca. It could be Charlotte Flair. Who knows? But my guess and my money is on Naomi, so we'll see how all that goes. But again, that is all I have for you now. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. I hope you all have a great weekend. Enjoy Saturday night's main event, and I will be back next week with hopefully a longer and more detailed and more exciting video. But that's all I have for now. Thanks again, everybody, for watching, and I'll see you all later.